Yeah, but I think when she realized that I was looking at stuff for me, then it didn't quite
Right.
work for her. Yeah, so I had to. You obviously familiar with purging,
Yes, yes.
and so that was my last big purge. I had to pack everything up and
Because you were trying to salvage the relationship. I've known Kimchi, Kimcheesy, on IG since September of 2022. When I saw her come on, she started with a bang. Lots of legs and always out meeting new people in the real world. A truly inspiring person who even snagged the 2022 Superlatives Award for New Kid on the Block. Let's dive into her story and see just what makes Kimchi tick. Hey Kimchi, look at you.
Hey, Alan. Yes. Thank you.
Good to see
Love
you.
yours too.
Go ahead and have a seat. So, what kind of tights are we wearing today?
You threw me off. I thought they were going to speak about a dress.
Mm.
These are Wolford Neon 40s.
Well, why would I ask
Kobe.
Kimchi about her dress when we know we must know about her tights first?
That is true. That's true.
And the dress?
This is in Yvonne Picone dress. It's thrifted.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a total thrift fiend. I love to thrift.
Awesome. And what are we drinking today?
We are drinking bubble tea.
Ooh.
Bubble tea is it's an Asian thing. It's also delicious and it's really good on a hot day like today.
Awesome. Well, cheers.
Cheers.
So,
Gotta watch out for the
I
these
gotta
bubbles.
choose them.
Chill faster.
So, kimchi. Kimchi, where did that come from?
So I picked the name Kim from my favorite musical, which is Miss Saigon.
Miss Saigon?
Mhm.
Okay.
Kim is the main female character. And then when I got online and I started joining communities, there was like a lot of Jessicas and people with the same name.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of wanted to do something different. And I had heard the name Kimchi used as a nickname before and I thought it was cute.
Okay.
So I just went with it.
So we see you coming into Instagram in May of 2022. What brought you onto Instagram?
So I started going out dressing in fall of 21.
Okay.
And every time I met someone, they were like, do you have an Instagram? Like they wanted to keep in touch.
Right.
But that was pretty much the main way. So they were like, oh, Instagram, do you have one? I was like, no, but, you know. So after a while, I was like, I think I should get one. So I started one up and, yeah.
So you said you were dressing before you got on IG. How long have you been dressing? How long has that been a part of your life?
Way longer than before that. So I've always had an interest in tights since I was pretty much as long as I can remember. One of my earliest memories was like I was 5 or 6 year old, and I saw my cousin was wearing navy blue tights, and I was just fascinated by them. And at some point, I found them in a room and decided to try them on, and I was hooked. So I became a fan of tights for life, and from there, my dressing just grew out of that.
Right.
So you've got the tights on. Oh, maybe they would look good with high-heeled shoes, right? So try those, and then look good with a dress,
Mm-hmm.
skirt. Yeah.
Just
Up
kind of
from there.
built up from there.
Mhm.
Did you ever share that with anybody when you were going through life? Or was it always kind of a personal thing?
It's pretty much been a personal thing. There's been a couple instances throughout my life where people found out, but we can get to that later on.
Right. Okay. So nobody in your family really knows about kimchi?
No, so Kimchi's circle and my real life circle are pretty much zero overlap. And
So you maintain two totally separate, different lives almost.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah, pretty much. And I'm okay with that for now. If the time comes to get into a serious relationship, then obviously I would want them to know.
Right.
Yeah, but for now, I'm fine with the way it is.
Do you find it hard to keep all that separate, or is it a lot of work? Is it difficult? I mean, do you have two different phones, or is it like how separate is separate?
So the only time that I need to really worry about it is when my family visits,
Right.
which just happened last month.
Oh, okay.
So I pretty much had to go through my whole home and scrub it of anything kimchi related. So that was kind of a lot of work. And then coming out again afterwards, I was like, where is everything? They're all packed away in boxes. I couldn't find the jewelry that I wanted, so that's why I have a little rubber band. But yeah, those are a little bit of the pitfalls.
So, but in the future, you're seeing the route that you want to take is more of making things more inclusive for your different lives, or no? Or you see this going on?
I could see it going on. I mean, I think it might be fun for my real life friends to know, but I'm not so sure because I'm not sure how they'll react.
Right.
And the same thing with my family. So, since I don't feel a strong urge to tell them, it works for now.
You're kind of religious.
I am, yeah, I'm a Christian.
Okay.
I grew up in the church, so I went to church all my life. I was pretty involved, and I was in like leadership positions, and I played in the praise band a lot. So yeah, I'm pretty.
And does kimchi fit into that at all, or does that stay away from the church?
So Kimchi is relatively recent. She only came out like during COVID, right? And I wasn't
I think
going.
that was for a lot of people. I think
Yeah.
that time to reflect affected a lot of people and their
COVID babies.
yes.
So I wasn't going to church at the time because nobody was,
Right.
And then once that got lifted, Kimchi was already going out, and during Pride Month of last year, my friend, who is a trans woman, she's an actual, she was going to give a message at her church. And I was like, wow, this is a great opportunity to be the first time to go,
Right.
as Kimchi. So I had to go and support her. She gave a great message. And it was such a surreal moment because, growing up in the church, you're told that this is wrong, basically. And so to be able to walk in those doors dressed like this and sit in the pew and hear God's word from a trans woman was just, I never thought, something like that would ever happen, but it did.
It's a certain level of validation of your belief and your faith and who you are, and having it all be able to come together is pretty.
Yeah. Just seeing how the church supports that now really helped me to accept that.
Was there any friction or anything in any parts of the church with that you were going to, or was it all very happy and
Not in my experience, it's all been great.
awesome?
I mean, it was Pride Month, so we went in there. They had little rainbow signs, and yeah, it was great.
And on top of that, I see you going out and meeting so many different people. You are out and about all the time, it seems like. I know it might not actually be all the time, but like we're always seeing you out and about. You're up in Pennsylvania, you're meeting people here. What got you into wanting to get out? Because you're a very kind of a I won't say introverted, but quiet person. But you're doing things that are putting yourself out there, going out and meeting other people. What's your inspiration for doing that? I mean, that seems like it's a jump.
Yeah, I mean, your observation is correct. I'm super shy, super introverted, but Kimchi is a little bit more outgoing, and she certainly has a better social life, and a lot more fun.
Yes, I know all about that.
I think the social aspect really came out because of the meetup groups, and that was for a meetup group, the local one in DC. I got invited by a friend of mine from Discord, and that was my first time going out and interacting with people. And as you might imagine, it was like so nerve-wracking. Right.
Before that, everything was just online. You didn't even go out really by yourself or anything, did you?
I did go out a couple times by myself.
Okay.
Because I knew the Halloween thing was coming up, so I kind of worked myself up to it.
Okay.
So I had never been out before, so the very first time I went out was my friend Jessica. She said, try going to the ATM. And so I took her suggestion. I went to the ATM. I sat in the car for like 10 minutes, could not get out, could not open the door.
Were there lots of people? Or
there was nobody around. I mean, it was in broad daylight.
Right.
And there was people maybe like a couple hundred yards away, but I was like, but I finally forced myself to do it. Got out there just enough time to do one of these, snap. Yeah, and then I went. The next week I went to like Walmart or a store, and then a couple weeks later I went to the museum in DC.
Oh wow!
And I think by then I was like ready to go to that Halloween party.
It gets a little easier every time. It does, yes.
And once I was there, it's just fantastic. I mean, this was the first time I ever met anyone who was gender nonconforming.
Right.
Yeah, so it opened my eyes. I got to listen to all these stories. And it was just a wonderful time, and I was like, I love this. I want to do it more.
Right. How big was the group?
There was probably like 40, 50 people there.
Wow.
Yep.
That's huge.
That's awesome.
Big group.
So what would you describe yourself as now? In the gender aspect of things?
So I'm not an expert on this. I would still
none of
say...
us are. We're all trying to figure this out.
I would still say cross-dresser, right?
Okay.
I tend to use gender fluid because I like being male, and I love being female, and I like switching back and forth.
Right.
So those are the two ways that I choose to present myself. So, both.
So gender fluid is what you, okay. I think I still don't know. I'm still working on it. Every time I think I've got it figured out, it's like, no, I get told no, or something doesn't feel right. It's everything's kind of crazy right now with all that. So I think gender fluid's a good one. I like that. So you were in a relationship and you got found out. What was the relationship?
So that was my ex-girlfriend, and she was living with me, and she was just playing around, poking around in my closets, and she found my stash of clothes.
And so she immediately thought you were seeing another woman, or did she?
Well, she was like, she didn't know what was in the bag, but I was like, okay, well, I guess now's as good a time as any to spill the beans. So I sat her down. I said, I have something to tell you. 2 rules: don't laugh, and you can't tell anyone. And so she agreed, and so I opened the bag and dumped out all my stuff. And I said, this is mine. I like to wear it. And she did not like it at all.
How long had y'all known each other?
So we were best friends for a while.
Before y'all had a relationship?
Before we dated.
Oh, wow.
So we had known each other for a while. And she knew that I liked tights already. but she just didn't know that I like to wear them myself.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you were getting her like gifts as tights and stuff like that for her to wear?
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
And yeah, like we used to go clothes shopping together, and I would pick out stuff for her.
Right.
And one
She
time,
was intrigued by your keen eye, probably.
she was like, "Oh, this guy doesn't mind shopping with me." Yeah, but I think when she realized that I was looking at stuff for me, then it didn't quite
Right.
work for her. Yeah, so I had to. You obviously familiar with purging.
Yes, yes.
And so that was my last big purge. I had to pack everything up and.
Because you were trying to salvage the relationship.
Yeah. So that was me trying to show her, hey, I don't need this.
Right.
Look, this is what I'm going to do for you. And
How did
very
it work
sad.
out?
Well, the relationship didn't work out in the end.
Did y'all stay together for much longer, or was it?
Maybe a year or two.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I mean, the one silver lining that came out of that was that she started to really understand how much I like tights on her.
Mm-hmm.
So we got to, have fun with that for a little bit.
Right.
Yeah, but in the end, it just didn't work out.
So now, are you living by yourself now?
Mm-hmm.
So now, how many outfits and tights do you get to have? I saw you Christmas tree, and it seems quite adorned.
Mm-hmm. So, I don't know if anyone else does this or if you do this, but I keep a spreadsheet. I like to track things.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so I got this spreadsheet and I track all of my purchases related to kimchi.
So you can write them off on your taxes?
I wish.
There's ways you can do that, but...
Yeah, so they're categorized, so I'd say about a third of it by quantity and by cost
Mm-hmm.
are tights, which I think is a little unusual for most people. But,
Do you wear them every day?
oh yeah.
Under your male clothes?
Oh, no, I don't.
No?
No, it's either male or female.
Okay. You don't
So
do
I
the
don't-
mix thing?
Yeah, I don't.
Because there's a lot of cross-dressers, transvestites, whatever we're calling them, who like to wear a garment under their male clothes.
Yeah. And more power to them, Yeah, so I get asked this a lot. So I'm currently about 140 pairs of tights. And I keep telling myself to stop.
Not too bad.
Yeah, it's actually not too bad. There's
The fact that you can keep 140 tights in good enough shape. I mean, if it wasn't for her,
Oh, yeah.
I might be able to get 3 wears out of tights, but I usually get like once when I put on my tights.
Rip them off.
We're keeping this PG,
Oh,
baby.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
no comment.
But
Sorry, I'm destroying.
so you're doing lots of care for those tights, hand washing, you probably have a whole routine of care for them.
Don't tell me you're not hand washing your tights.
No,
I'm just kidding. Yeah, I do.
we might put them in the little special bag that you put in the laundry so they don't hit other things, but usually not. I do let them hang dry. I don't dry them in the
Oh,
dryer.
yeah, that's good. That's good. Yeah, I used to. All the girls that I dated, I used to buy all their tights. I used to hand wash all of them, so they got the very best.
Nice.
Yeah, and now I get the very best.
When you first went online, you went into subreddit,
Mm-hmm.
and what was that world like? What was that like, linking up with other cross-dressers?
So that was the Discord for the CD subreddit, and
And that was the group that you met with
no,
here in
this
DC, or is that something
this
different?
is separate.
Okay.
So this is it's worldwide,
Okay.
Discord. But that was pretty much instrumental for Kimchi to come out. I think that was my very first interactions, period, with
Mhm.
anybody about cross-dressing or presenting femme. and there are a lot of, there's a lot of people on there, a lot of people interested in this topic, a lot of people asking questions, looking for answers, and a lot of people giving them,
Right.
being very helpful, being very encouraging, and they're all on there posting their own pictures. I mentioned her before, but Jessica, my friend, she was on there posting all these pictures of her going out, having fun. I was like, I want that for myself, right? So that was huge for me because it inspired me.
Right.
It got me connected to the community. It made me want to go out and express myself. So yeah, that was huge.
Do you still do?
I'm still on there.
Still on there?
And I'm
So there, IG, where anywhere else? Twitter?
mostly
Tumblr, any of the others?
mostly Instagram and Discord.
Okay.
But the Discord, I am, interestingly enough, I'm known as the Queen of Tights. I'm not as active on there anymore, but whenever someone has a question about tights, they will ping me and I get summoned.
Oh.
And I'll go in there and share some expertise about the topic. So.
Nice. Well,
You
all hail the
enjoying
queen.
Yeah, you enjoying the title?
I love it.
That's awesome.
So we're going to move into the last three. First one's a couple questions for you, and then one for me. What would you say to somebody one-on-one in a private situation who didn't feel that gender nonconforming people, that people like us who wear dresses when we shouldn't wear dresses, what question would you ask them?
So I think a lot of it is fear of the unknown, right? People don't, they fear what they don't understand.
Right.
Right, so I would just ask them, do you know anyone like that? And if they say no, I would ask, well, how do you know? Because the people that know me in real life, they look at me and think I'm like, I've been called a man's man, right?
Mm-hmm.
I love sports, love talking about guy things. I don't exude any femininity at all.
Right.
And I think they would be like completely taken aback if they saw this. So, how do you know? You know, your best friend could have some of those thoughts. I don't know.
So the next one is, what would you say to a younger Kimchi? Either when you're growing up or having a hard time, what advice would you give yourself?
I think it's great to say that it's okay, That's the first thing that comes to mind. But I would tell her to start earlier because, I'm getting up there in age, and I just
I
think,
know all about that.
oh my gosh, this would have been so much more fun, when I was younger, Like, I go out and party with the girls and I'm like, I could be their auntie,
Mm.
So it would have been so much fun to go out younger,
Right.
start earlier, It's such a fun life. Why wait?
Exactly. Why wait? So, one question for me, and then we're done.
So I imagine you get a ton of feedback and compliments. So I'm curious, what is your favorite kind of compliment to receive?
I don't know. Genuine. So I actually had the best compliment that I've ever had 2 weeks ago or a week ago. I don't even know. It's all blending together now. We went to Pride in St. Petersburg, and we were meeting up with 2 other people there. That's the one my mom and her husband went to us with too. And she said that I looked better in person than I did in my pictures. And because for me, that's always been my biggest thing is I can take some pretty good pictures, but I don't feel like I feel like I'm getting by in real life, and that blew me away to hear that. That was really cool. Yeah, the best compliments I like are the ones that aren't about how I look so much, even though that one was. It's more so just because I'm always trying to spy out little things of knowledge and wisdom and encouragement, and I like getting feedback on what I say more than on how I look. I kind of like to use the pictures to grab attention and then try and say something. Sometimes I'm just tired, don't want to say anything. Like, hump day or something, yeah, okay, picture my butt. But other than that, it's, I like interacting with people and hearing compliments about my ideas and things like that. That's my favorite.
I just want to say that you do look better in person.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Well, that's it for episode 6 of Feminine Fashion Enthusiast. Thank you so much, Kimchi.
Thank you. It was wonderful meeting you.
Yay.
Same.
Bye.
Bye.